Baltimore, Maryland today. It's been a rough year for the Baltimore Orioles, but what a year for the Texas Rangers. They have designs on either the AL West or the wild card. They are absolutely in play for both of those, and what a lot of fun it's been if you're a Texas Rangers fan. Along with Mark Grace, I'm Josh Lewin. Welcome to our coverage of Fox Saturday Baseball, and how about the Texas Rangers?
Yeah, the Texas Rangers for years have been a team that beat on you with big bats. It's not the case this year, Josh. They win with starting pitching and some terrific starting pitching. Scott Feldman pitched here last night. He won his 15th ball game. Today, Ron Washington gets to hand the baseball to Kevin Millwood.
Pitching and defense. Who knew? But it's working for the Texas Rangers, and they've got a lot of things to be happy about and proud about. Trying to stick the landing. They've got 4 weeks to go. Trying to get back to the postseason. They play the Orioles when we come back. And obviously things are not as they had designed it in 2009. They haven't finished with a winning record around here since going wire to wire in 1997. The Rangers trend, meantime, has got an up arrow to it. The Rangers right now a high water mark, 18 games over 500 here in 2009. We mentioned just a couple games back in the wild card pursuit. 3.5 out in the AL West. And the starting lineup for the Rangers today brought to you by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. Kinsler and Andrews with Michael Young out, and with Josh Hamilton out, there's Marlon Byrd in center field batting third. We'll talk a lot more about the Rangers' injury situation going forward, something they've just got to navigate. Nelly Cruz is the cleanup batter. David Murphy and Pudge Rodriguez. Chris Davis grew up in Longview, Texas, wanting to be Pudge Rodriguez. Now he hits behind Pudge Rodriguez. Saltalamacchia and Esteban Herman rounding it out. Reach for the perfect balance of flavor and refreshment. Budweiser, the great American lager. And presenting today's game on Fox between the Rangers and the Orioles, Brian Mattis is an interesting guy. He's only 22 years old and the biggest Mark Grace fan ever. We will get into that for sure. But first, Mark Grace, your thoughts about this kid, who really is a kid. He's 22 years old.
Yeah, he's 22 years old. He was at the University of San Diego, well, just last year, Josh, so he is learning on the job. But you talk to Dave Tremblay about him. Dave Tremblay, he just beams when he talks about this young left-hander because he's got a lot of polish. He's got 4 pitches, first of all, the fastball, curveball, slider, change, and he's starting to figure it out, Josh. He's coming off his best start. That was the last time he pitched against the Cleveland Indians, only 1 run in 7 innings. So he's starting to figure it out, but they're going to have to shut him down sometime soon as far as innings go. So, well, the Orioles are hoping that, well, he doesn't figure it out and then they have to, well, make him stop.
That's your sprint pitcher profile, and Mattis facing Ian Kinsler. You got to appreciate the Orioles' tip of the hat today to the 1949 Negro League Baltimore Elite Giants. And actually, we're told it's pronounced Elite, as in delight from back in the day. The team had moved from Nashville and the southern influenced pronunciation, the Elite Giants of 1949. So that's the uniform that you're looking at today that Brian Mattis is wearing. It's a little blousy on Brian Mattis.
Yeah, he likes the newfangled tight uniform. There's too much room, he said, but you know what? So far, so good. He gets an easy comebacker off the bat of Ian Kinsler for out number 1.
He is an, if you will, elite talent. He is a guy that the Orioles are going to bank on as they move forward and try to do that rebuilding thing. There's a strike to Elvis Andrews, who is the younger combatant here. Mattis is 22. Elvis Andrews just turned 21.
Well, what a job he's done this year at shortstop. Not only defensively, starting to pick up the offense as well.
All right, I got to get you back to your experience meeting Brian Mattis before the game. And just to let everybody in on this, it was like Mattis was a 13-year-old girl and you were a Jonas brother. I mean, it was that kind of dynamic. That ball pegged in a left by Elvis Andrews. Brian Mattis grew up wanting to be, I don't know why, Mark Grace.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's got bad taste. There's no question about that. But he's a kid that went to San Diego, that went to USD. He also grew up in Arizona, and he was talking about, well, the reason he is such a fan is because, well, before there was an Arizona Diamondbacks, well, all the games were on WGN. He used to work for the Chicago Cubs, WGN, the Chicago Superstation.
Yeah, and then he said, not only did we get a team, then we got my favorite player. We got Mark Grace. So I've never seen, ever, a starting pitcher day of game as Marlon Byrd takes down and in flip-flops, in our booth. 2 hours before the game with a jersey saying, please, Mr. Grace, would you sign this for me?
And I was like, well, it's nice to meet you, young man. What are you doing up here in the booth? And we had trouble getting him out of here, didn't we, Josh?
Might want to go get ready for those big bad Rangers, son. That ball blasted into right center. And Marlon Byrd, who had a couple of hits yesterday, takes this one right up the alley. Around comes Elvis Andrews. And the Rangers very quickly have a 1-0 lead in Baltimore. If you haven't seen a lot of the Rangers this year, you're probably already seeing it. They play with some energy, boy.
They really do. Ron Washington's got a lot to be proud of. He's got a lineup right now that's missing a couple of main ingredients. One of them, Michael Young, one of the best hitters in all of baseball. But he still finds a way to get his guys, as you said, to play with energy, not just a couple times a week, every single day. They get between the lines. These guys bring it.
Nelson Cruz a wave and a miss. And yet Ron Washington very passionately has been preaching that ever since he's had this gig. It's what you bring every day. That's what separates the New York Yankees from middle of the pack teams. You come with that intensity every game. Of course, talent and a payroll of $200 million.
I was going to say that helps a little bit too, yeah. Certainly. But these Texas Rangers, I think under Noah and Ryan, they've just got a new lease and a new way of going about their business. And it's winning baseball games.
Nelson Cruz, part of the Ranger Renaissance, had a home run yesterday in that 5-1 Texas win. The 5-1 win, I think, Gracie, more a function of what you kind of mentioned off the top of the broadcast. It's the pitching. Scott Feldman goes to 15-4 with that win yesterday. We all know the Rangers can hit home runs. That's been going on for years and years. But this pitching thing, that's brand new.
Good change up there from Mattis on a 3-1 count. Cruz way out in front. You don't see many 22-year-olds that can do this at the major league level. A 3-1 changeup to the cleanup hitter, and he gets a much needed strike too. Let's see if he comes back with it here on the 3-2 count.
Cruz with a busted bat, and the baseball's going to end up in the crowd down that right field line. Easier for the Rangers to take the field with a swagger when we can talk about this. Last year, 10th in terms of wins in their starters, 13th in ERA. Instead of a 10 and a 13, this year they got a 1 and a 4 when it comes to the rankings.
And it's easy to see why these guys are right in the thick of things as far as postseason is concerned. You gotta pitch.
Popped up by Nelson Cruz. Wigginton in foul ground.
Well, that was a nice sequence Mattis put on Nelson Cruz after the 3-1 changeup, back-to-back fastballs to break one bat and then get the easy pop-up.
At 22 years old, it's probably important to note that a lot of rebuilding teams have a 21 or 22-year-old lefty that they love and think will be the man someday. Pirates have Rudy Owens, the Reds have Travis Wood, but while those college-age kids are still in AA and AAA, here's Mattis facing David Murphy in the big leagues. Murphy driving it out of here. 2-run home run. His first home run this year was an opposite field shot at Camden Yards, and now his most recent home run. Same story. It's the Rangers 3 and the Orioles nothing here in the first inning.
Well, the youngster found out in a hurry that if you throw that get-me-over fastball here in the major leagues to a loaded lineup like the Texas Rangers, you don't get away with that one. Murphy hammers that ball a couple of rows deep to the opposite field, and just like that, a field goal. It is Saturday. A field goal here for the Texas Rangers in the first inning.
The recently reacquired Pudge Rodriguez follows, and David Murphy, who had begun the season, Gracie, 0 for 23. Kind of got himself going with a home run here at Camden Yards back in April. The one he just added kind of goes along with what we were talking about, that it is nothing recent, that the Rangers are loaded with guys who can hit the ball out. Protecting early 3-0 leads.
That's always been the problem for the Texas Rangers.
It's been an issue, yep.
Yeah, getting 3 early runs is nothing new, certainly for this Ranger club, and that's the way it's been for a couple of decades.
Rodriguez down on strikes, but the Rangers strike quickly against young Brian Mattis, up by 3 on 5. The Rangers have won 4 straight. The Orioles have lost 4 straight. And Texas has a 3-0 jump here this afternoon in Baltimore. The Orioles come up right now. Their starting lineup brought to you by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. Felix P.A., Nolan Reimold, and Brian Roberts setting up Nick Markakis, having another very strong season. Luke Scott, and then the franchise catcher, Matt Wieters. Mora Wigginton and his tourist rounded out. And Kevin Millwood is on the mound. We'll be profiling him in just a moment. Veteran, 34 years old, used to wear number 34, but that number is retired in Texas for the great Nolan Ryan. And the sprint pitcher profile on Mr. Millwood.
Well, Kevin Millwood, certainly the veteran. He's pitched in a lot of big games in September, and he gives the O's woes. Yes, he has a great lifetime record against these Orioles. Trying 9-2.
Has only lost once in this ballpark in his career.
And he's also Nolan Ryan's example. Nolan Ryan, team president of the Rangers. He got all his starters together and said, hey, look, I need a lot more from you guys. I need you guys to quit looking for help after 6 innings. And he called Kevin Millwood aside and said, it's one thing for me to say it, but I need you, Kevin Millwood, as the veteran on this squad, to go out and do it. And he has.
And as for the woes inflicted on the O's, this is since 2005, 7-1, and lifetime 9-2. Felix P.A. slugs one down the line. That ball bends foul, and we stay at 2-2.
Yeah, Millwood tried to come in with a cut fastball. Didn't quite get it in, left it in the middle of the plate. He just missed extra bases by a couple feet.
The cut fastball has become the pitch for a lot of these Ranger pitchers who are succeeding. Scott Feldman, you mentioned yesterday, with his 15th win of the year against only 4 losses. He's 11-1 on the road, and that cutter has been the thing that's pushed him forward. P.A. trying to dunk it into right. He will drop it down in front of Nelly Cruz.
That's a pretty piece of hitting right there by P.A. Takes a breaking ball in the outer third. Even more out than that, even a few inches off the plate, and just doesn't try to do too much with it. Josh just flips it out into right field in front of Nelson Cruz, and speed on the bases here for the Orioles to start the first.
So Millwood, who does have a no-hitter to his credit in the big leagues, will not have one of those today. Felix P.A. takes care of that. And we get from Nolan Ryan to Nolan Reimold. Rookie of the Year candidate for these Baltimore Orioles. So back to yesterday, though, and Mr. Feldman getting win number 15. Pretty amazing to put Scott Feldman, I think, right now, Gracie, in the company of CC Sabathia and Justin Verlander, Zach Greinke. I mean, those are the other guys with that many wins in the American League.
He deserves to be there.
That ball chipped in right by Nolan Reimold. Another long run for Nelson Cruz, and again, he won't get there. PA stops at third. And here come the Baltimore Orioles, down 3-0. Runners at second and third right away for Brian Roberts.
Well, Texas Rangers get a bit of a break there, but PA was held up at third base by third base coach Juan Samuel. A little slider down and away. And another situation where Baltimore Orioles just doesn't try to do too much with the pitch, just go with it. Cruz can't catch up with it, and once it gets away, PA could have easily scored there, but very conservative by Juan Samuel, the third base coach, to keep him there. Once he's off to the races, this kid can fly. I think he could have scored easily right there. Let's see if that comes back to haunt Baltimore, or if he'll score anyway.
Yeah, the guy coming up here has already got 49 doubles, Brian Roberts, and it's weird to see him hitting third in the order, Gracie. He's been the leadoff guy for Baltimore pretty much every game now for 4 or 5 years. But yesterday, Dave Tremblay made that decision to go ahead and flip him down to third. They've had to adjust some things with the injury to Adam Jones.
Exactly. With Adam Jones' ankle injury, now Brian Roberts, the ultimate organization. He is the guy that the Orioles have counted on for so many years. Yeah, I'll gladly do it, he says. Well, that's a heck of a pitch right there from Millwood on the outside corner.
Millwood's been a strong starter this series, allowed only 8 first-inning runs all season. Gonna have to battle through this. Second and third, nobody out.
There's that cut fastball right there. Roberts had a good rip at it and fouled it back. You can see he was disgusted with himself. He let Millwood get away with it.
You were saying before the game, Mark, you know, Feldman, the guy who pitched yesterday, getting that 15th win, he's so tall, so lanky. The arm angle from which that cutter is thrown is going to make it real difficult.
The 3/4 arm angle, and yet that ball cuts a good 8 to 10 inches. Some of the Oriole hitters I was talking to today before the game, they were dumbfounded by how much that ball was cutting.
Millwood strikes out Roberts. The first hurdle is cleared to get through a spotless first inning.
Well, just beautiful placement. Rodriguez right on the outside corner. That's right where Millwood goes with it. Watch the glove. Never moves. Perfect pitch.
Well, again, the Rangers winning 5-1 yesterday behind the killer Fs, Feldman and Felice. The rookie Neftali Felice is now at 19 2/3 scoreless innings since an Adam Kennedy home run a few weeks ago.
Well, how special is that kid been, Felice?
Well, 22 innings in the big leagues, partner. He's walked 1 and struck out 28. I'd put that under the files of special.
Making it look easy. There's the cut fastball. That's what we're talking about. The fastball, it starts on the middle of the plate and then right at the last second really runs in to jam the left-handed hitter.
The cutter is very much a part of Mark Grace / Arizona Diamondbacks lore. That's what Mariano Rivera was throwing in that 9th inning in Game 7, right, in that World Series.
Yeah, that's probably the best cut fastball ever. And here he is still doing it in 2009.
But he's the exception, right? I mean, everybody knows to look for it. He could probably just throw that pitch all game long and still succeed. A guy like Feldman or Millwood, they need more than just that, right?
Well, exactly. Like Mariano Rivera is the only pitcher, successful pitcher I know of that he throws a fastball. He doesn't have anything off speed.
Markakis takes this one towards left. PA is tagging. Will he try out David Murphy? Yes, he will. And here's the throw coming into Pudge Rodriguez, not in time. Getting away and dashing for third now is Nolan Reimold. He'll skid in there as the ball got away from Pudge Rodriguez. It's now 3-1 and some pretty aggressive heads-up base running from Reimold.
Well, Murphy has a very good arm, and that extra double pump was all it took for PA to get underneath Pudge Rodriguez. Reimold, once he sees the ball get away, he just scoots over to third base, and now with 2 outs, a runner on third. So PA ends up scoring anyway after he was held at third on the Reimold double.
Boy, and here's a rarity to report, an error on the 13-time Gold Glover Pudge Rodriguez. His inability to keep that ball near him. They're giving him the error, allowing Reimold to go to third.
Interesting call. What do you think?
I just work here. I'm not endorsing it either way, but
watch the double pump, the extra double pump right there. That's all it takes right there for PA to get underneath. And he got his arm hit, and then the ball got away. That one swatted foul.
You can't really.
That's a tough error to have to swallow right there, isn't it?
But you can't really penalize Murphy, right? Because the ball is right in the
on the button. Yeah. You can see his glove was hit. There's really not much you can do there. So it even happens to the great ones, to the Hall of Fame candidates.
Pudge Rodriguez has caught more games than anybody else in the history of the big leagues. Ahead of the other Pudge, Carlton Fisk. That one riding into Luke Scott, 1-2. I know you're digging these uniforms.
I love it. I think everybody should have to wear them every day. I I guess that cloth doesn't breathe very well, though, does it?
Chipped out in front of the plate, and that is, yes, a fair ball. Pudge Rodriguez will pounce on it. Luke Scott will argue about it, but Paul Nart, your home plate umpire, says that's it. Good night, folks. 3-1 at the end of one. Nextel Direct Connect only from the Now Network. By Taco Bell, think outside the bun. And by Progressive Insurance, the freedom to name your price. Just a gorgeous afternoon here in Baltimore today. It's supposed to be humid in Baltimore this time of year. It's really not today. Chris Davis bats and Brian Madison is down and outside. Already 3-1 Texas today. After they won 5-1 yesterday, running their win streak to 4. It's funny, Mark Grace, on Monday, the Rangers gave up 18 runs at home to Toronto, lost 18-10. Since then, they've played 4 games. They've given up 9 runs total.
It's a nutty game, isn't it? This game we love so much.
Davis sends a soaring drive towards right center field. Out number 1. Next week on Fox Saturday Baseball, the playoff race continues to heat up. The Braves try to gain ground in the National League wild card race. They'll take on the Central leading Cardinals, or the White Sox take on the AL West leading Angels. You might see the Mets and the Phillies. Fox Saturday Baseball presented by Budweiser, returning next week at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific, right here on Fox. Jared Saltalamacchia is back in the lineup for the Rangers. First time in a while, has been on the DL. Getting a chance to DH, and he clubs one to center field. The ball just seems to hang up there, and Felix P.A. will run it down. We've been talking American League wild card already. The Rangers have that in range. In terms of the National League wild card, boy, the Rockies were dead and buried right around Memorial Day, and here they are leading the thing. With the Giants right there, and the Marlins, to me, Gracie, are kind of the National League version of the Rangers. They got the lower payroll, young team. Every time you think they're done, they're not.
They find a way. Atlanta, don't give up on them either. They've got a great pitching staff. Isn't it amazing the job Jim Tracy has done for the Colorado Rockies since taking over in May?
His son, by the way, is a Rangers minor leaguer. Now, teams like the Rockies, a fairly recent vintage. Of course, last year Tampa Bay surprised people. They got all the way to the promised land, got to that World Series. I think the Rangers are trying to temper such expectation and enthusiasm right now. I mean, you don't want to tell the fans, hey, it's not going to happen, because boy, right now it looks like anything can happen, but just ride the wave as long as you can. As Ron Washington says, as long as the pitching and defense shows up every day, we got a shot.
Because they're going to hit, and if you can get the pitching like you've been getting, if you're Ron Washington, there's nothing that I wouldn't put past this Texas Ranger ball club. This is a very talented ball club. They're missing a few cogs right now. Michael Young, we mentioned. Of course, Josh Hamilton. He's still hurting with a back injury.
Mike Maddox gets so much credit for implementing the Nolan Ryan plan this year. Herman taking down an outside. The Rangers didn't really make a splash in the free agency marketplace, but Nolan Ryan's always quick to say that right there, that's our free agent signing.
That's it, and he was let go by the Milwaukee Brewers. The Texas Rangers scooped him right up, and that was hit to center a long ways.
For Esteban Herman it is, you bet.
Back to Mike Maddox, so isn't it interesting? Milwaukee Brewer pitching staff isn't all that good this year.
Yep, and the Rangers are doing some pretty magical things. It's 3-1 Texas this afternoon. By Budweiser, reach for the perfect combination of flavor and refreshment. Budweiser, the great American lager. The Texas Rangers trying to run their win streak to 5 and trying to get a little bit closer to being the wild card entry or the AL West winner. Millwood to Matt Wieters, who's going to take one the opposite way. That's something David Murphy did with a good measure of success in the first inning. Murphy homered. That's the difference in the game right now. Wieters a quick first out, brings up Melvin Moore.
Both teams really aggressive early in the counts. Both guys throwing strikes. Mattis. Now Millwood. Boy, if you're a starting pitcher, you're loving that. You get one pitch out, 2 pitch outs. That just means you can go much deeper in the ball game as we move along.
Well, and back to your discussion about Mike Maddox from a couple minutes ago. That's really something that the Ranger pitchers, to a man, have embraced. This whole pitch to contact thing. You don't have to strike the guy out. And I guess that's easier to put into practice when you actually trust that the defense behind you is going to make a play, right?
Yeah, this year, much improved Ranger ball club defensively. And yeah, Josh, strikeouts are sexy. People love strikeouts. It gets people on their feet. But at the end of the day, well, I know a lot of pitchers that love to have a ground ball on the first couple of pitches. That way they can move into the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning with a manageable pitch count.
Whacked in left field. That ball is going to travel all the way out for Melvin Mora. The Orioles back to within 3-2.
Well, Melvin Mora just picked on a fastball right down the middle, and he just unloads, trying to come inside, just doesn't get it inside. Mora unloads, and there was no question about that. Boom, beautiful swing, head right on it. 3-2. We got a little slugfest here, Josh.
Old school Ranger baseball. As Ty Wigginton will take a strike. I think that's a curious stat because, again, regarding the Rangers, in theory, the home ballpark is supposed to be a pitcher's undoing. It's supposed to be a launching pad. It's supposed to melt your heart if you are a pitcher. But the Rangers have actually pitched well in their home digs this year, and that stat on Kevin Millwood kind of bears that out.
Only 6 home runs at home. Not the case on the road, 15, but Millwood will tell you if you're going to give them up solo. You can live with those.
A little bit off the plate here, 1-2 to Wigginton. Now that's the kind of contact that we're talking about. Pitch to contact is fine if it's not good contact.
You know, when you make a pitch like that, a breaking ball down and away, and you can get Ty Wigginton to make a swing like this, a very defensive swing, good breaking ball. Look at the late bite. Wigginton way out in front, and all he can do is just flail at it and hit an easy fly ball. Good pitch.
Growing up, I would think if you're a pitcher, you do aspire to be a strikeout guy. You're not thinking, I want to grow up so I can hit a bat. You know,
well, it's true, and you're right, Josh. And like I said, that's what I mean. Everybody wants, you know, when I was growing up, everybody wanted to be Nolan Ryan.
No,
we weren't thinking of being Dan Quisenberry, you know, the guy that pitched to contact. Yeah, everybody wanted to be Nolan Ryan. Everybody wanted to be the big power hitter. But there's only a few of those.
Cesar Torres, the hitter, in a 3-2 game, 2 out. Well, and true to form, the Rangers have struck out the second fewest number of batters in the American League. Only the Orioles have struck out fewer than the Rangers have. And Kevin Millwood, coming up in the Atlanta Braves organization, was around some strikeout guys. I mean, the Glavins and the Smoltzes.
Sure.
Even Maddox, although he was known as a finesse guy, could strike you out. So it's a readjustment of your mindset more than anything else. It's okay to hit a bat.
And it's, as you said, it's tough to change your mind. And Mike Maddox is finally got these guys to believe in, you know what? Put some sink on the pitch. Keep it on the corners or near the corners. Keep it around the knees, and you're going to get some easy ground balls.
But again, the caveat is you've got to trust that the guys that are behind you are going to make that play for you.
Last year, that wasn't the case,
That was not the case last year. And Elvis Andrus, now put in there at shortstop, has statistically the most range of any shortstop in the big leagues. Michael Young has been bumped to third. Of course, he's hurt right now, so it's Herman today. But there's a trust factor there. Kinsler goes and gets everything at second. Davis scoops everything at first. As if on cue, Kinsler, although that one's kind of easy.
He still caught it, though.
Yeah, which is good. All right, so there was some contact that went well for Baltimore in that inning. Mora's home run has made it 3-2. 3-2 Texas Rangers over the Baltimore Orioles today on Fox. Top of the order for the Rangers here against young Brian Mattis. That is Ian Kinsler at the plate. Honing in on a 30-30 season. 30 homers, 30 steals. This could be home run number 30. It goes to the track. It will not be home run number 30. Close. But he's at 29/28. And Kinsler's double play partner comes up next, Elvis Andrus. We mentioned just turned 21. And he has established himself as a force on this Texas Rangers ball club.
He can do a lot of things to help you win baseball games. Sure, he's got the great defense, but I think even Ranger fans and Ranger people are surprised at just how effective he's been offensively, not only on the bases, stealing bases, but this guy can hit.
Some scouts think his gap power could eventually develop into home run power, kind of like what's happened with Hanley Ramirez in Florida. For right now, Ranger fans are thrilled with all of this, not to mention the defense.
Yeah, and only being 21, I mean, he's still going to mature. He's still a kid that's going to get stronger and get smarter with experience. Boy, you get Hanley Ramirez out of him, boy, you're way ahead of the game.
Andrus, who grew up in Venezuela, and of course Omar Vizquel was a guy that all the kids wanted to grow up and be someday, and now he gets to actually learn from Omar Vizquel right here in the exact same dugout. And Andrus has said if he couldn't become Omar Vizquel, because who can ever really have that kind of charisma that Omar Vizquel has?
Sure.
He said the other guy that I always just really thought maybe someday I can be compared to, if all goes well, be Derek Jeter. For the instincts and for that natural ability to lead is what Elvis Andrus has said. And you know what? The way he carries himself as a 21-year-old, and Omar Vizquel, who's twice that now, he's 42, he's commented that, yeah, you know what? Elvis can probably do that. Be the guy that just quietly, effectively leads by example. Gap power, as we're talking about. Although this one does not quite get up the gap. Markakis can't handle it. And Elvis Andrus stomps on second base. He's on his way to third. I don't know what happened out there. But Andrus ends up standing at third base with only one out.
Well, the sun helpeth the Texas Rangers. Nick Markakis, he's right there, and all of a sudden, oh boy, I can't see it. And then didn't go after it with much haste. And Felix P.A. also not really hasty backing him up. So now a one-out triple thanks to the sun and thanks to some lack of backup there on the part of the Orioles center fielder Felix P.A.
The infield creeps in here for Baltimore. Marlon Byrd has the RBI opportunity. Now he leads the American League in sac flies. Will this one be deep enough? Andrus is going to tag. Felix P.A. shallow. And he'll fire. Here comes Elvis Andrus. He's going to score. Standing up as the throw is offline. 10th sac fly of the year for Marlon Byrd. We mentioned that leads the American League now by 2. And the Rangers lead by 2.
Well, right back come the Rangers with a gift run. They'll take it.
Felix P.A. ushered it in pretty quickly. P.A., a guy that hit for the cycle a few weeks ago. The Rangers have hit for the cycle now today. Their 4 hits have been the single, the double, the homer, and the triple in that order. Nelson Cruz with a foul ball back.
This Mattis got a sneaky quick fastball. Runs it up there in the low 90s. We've seen some off-speed stuff, some good curveballs, some good change-ups. Sky's the limit for this talented kid.
But as is the case with a lot of organizations, the way they handle a young phenom like this, I mean, they're basically handling him like he's plutonium. You know, I mean, just real carefully here. Low pitch counts. Good changeup right there, 1-2.
Gorgeous changeup after a fastball in to get the attention of Nelson Cruz. Let's just pull the string to the outside part of the plate. Nicely done there, way out ahead of it is Cruz.
Now going back to the ball lost in the sun. We should point out this is kind of an unusual start time, local time. Nick Markakis getting used to a different position of that big round yellow thing. The Orioles play a lot of 1:35 local time games and 7:05 games.
Not many 4:15s.
Nope.
Or 4:10s. They'll get to enjoy their Saturday night a little longer. However, still dealing with sun and shadows at this strange starting time.
Slowly hit, Mattis pouncing on it. And he pulls Wigginton off the bag. Nelson Cruz is reached. That'll be an infield hit. And Nelson Cruz is back to being a .270 hitter for the year.
Well, for a big man, Nelson Cruz runs so well. Mattis knows that. He pounces on it pretty nicely. Then he has to hurry. And he pulls Wigginton off the bag. Don't know if you'd have gotten him anyway, even with a good throw, because Cruz runs so well.
Now David Murphy, who homered back in the first. It in there. Murphy going opposite field in the first inning for home run number 13.
Got a belt-high fastball right down the middle and did just what you're supposed to do with it. Drive it out of here. Mattis with the slider for the first pitch this go around.
Opposite field again, but this time smothered. Melvin Mora safe at first as Murphy beats it out. Mattis is not a guy who allows a lot of hits to lefties, period. And Murphy, a lefty, 2 for 2 against him today.
And Murphy with good speed as well. What a great play by Mora. The gun across the diamond. Joe West, the first base umpire and friend of the show, with the safe call.
Country music singing sensation Joe West at first base. The umpires all lost a pretty good friend recently, we just found out.
Yeah, Fred Brocklander, who was a 12-year Major League umpire, passed away after multiple strokes, passed away August 21st. I know he lives in the area. He's got family here in the area. And, you know, our best regards and, of course, our thoughts and prayers is.
Runners are going. The Rangers have executed more successful double steals than any team in the majors, Gracie. That's their 15th under Ron Washington this year. And I mean, it goes back to the team that you grew up rooting for, those mid-'80s St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah, you're seeing Ron Washington just continually press the accelerator. Keep them aggressive. And even though you've got a 4-2 lead, you got to continue to try. Yeah, there's 2 outs. A nice throw there from Wieters, but just a great jump from both Cruz and Murphy. Now base hit scores too. I just love the style of baseball that Ron Washington brings to the Texas Rangers. He doesn't sit back and wait for 3-run homers.
Well, look at this inning. There's been a sac fly to score a run, 2 infield hits, and now a double steal. That is not old school Texas Ranger baseball.
And what that does, it just consistently puts the pressure on the opposing defense. You force the opposition to make plays. And right now, these Orioles haven't made the plays yet early in the game. And it also keeps the pitcher in the stretch. Something else to think about besides the hitter. Nice block there from Wieters.
Oh, they almost stole another run because there's a guy at third. Matt Wieters had to knock it down.
And you got a youngster on the mound in Mattis. Hasn't been through these battles yet against the Hall of Famers like Pudge Rodriguez. He's got enough to think about with second and third. Now you get base runners out there, something else to look at. He might lose his concentration. Good change up there to even the count.
We've seen a 3-1 change, now a 2-0 change, so he's confident to throw that pretty much any time.
That's been his go-to pitch today. That's the one he feels good about. We may see another one right here, Josh.
That one scored it out. Went up and outside. Chris Davis is on deck. Power hitting lefty. 2.
Good breaking ball there from Mattis. Rodriguez with a big swing. Right over the top he goes. Good late snap to that breaking ball.
Rodriguez swings away on 3-2, drives it near the track in center. Caught by Felix Piet. 2 men left. It's 4-2 Rangers. Welcome back to Fox Saturday Baseball, presented by Budweiser, the great American lager. One of the true retro masterpieces in baseball, Camden Yards. Fantastic place to watch a baseball game.
Hard to find a better one.
Well, they're peeking in from out there on Utah Street today. They're hoping their Baltimore Orioles can turn the corner here before things really get away. Already there's some signs that things are getting away. Millwood jamming Felix Piet. Getting a very quick out here in the bottom of the third. 4-2 Rangers to score. You know, last year Baltimore was kind of hanging in there for a while. They were 60-63, not horrible. Then they just fell down the mountain like that Yugoslavian skier on Wide World of Sports. They lost 30 of their last 38. They lost 11 of their last 12. And that can't happen on Dave Tremblay's watch again. It just can't.
No. And if anybody will work his way through it, is Dave Tremblay. I had Dave Tremblay as he was one of my managers when I was in the minor leagues.
When you broke in, right?
Many years ago, back in the mid-'80s.
Oh, he is an unbelievable teacher. I mean,
I agree.
Reimold is going to jack one to left field. David Murphy back at the track at the wall with a leap. He can't get it. Nolan Reimold hits it out. And the Orioles will not go away. It is 4-3 in the third. Both teams' number 2 hitters. Andrews for the Rangers, Reimold for Baltimore. Rookie of the Year candidates. Andrews is 2 for 2 today. Reimold is 2 for 2 today. And Reimold has now left the yard.
That's twice now that Kevin Millwood's tried to come inside to a right-handed hitter with fastballs and left it middle in. And give these Oriole hitters credit. Any mistake that Millwood's made here this afternoon has gone into the seats.
Outside to Brian Roberts. On the one hand, there's a lot of good with Kevin Millwood to talk about. He is already, with a couple innings in the books today, exceeded last year's innings pitched total. And there's still a month of the season to go. So the Rangers are getting more just in terms of value out of Kevin Millwood. And he started the year among the top 5 in ERA and stayed there for a couple of months. But, you know, to be frank about it, Gracie, right now what you have to look at is his last 10, 11 starts, his ERA is about 5.8.
He's hit a bit of a wall here, especially in August and now into September. 4 wide ones there.
And has to deal with the power hitting Nick Markakis.
While we got a break, I want to go back to the baseball lost Fred Brocklander, an umpire of 12 years, Josh. And thoughts and prayers with the Brocklander family. He's survived by his wife Dorrit, 3 daughters and 5 grandchildren. He was a very good man and a good umpire.
He would let you know where the pitch was, right?
Every time. If it was a pitch down and away, he wouldn't say ball, he'd say outside and look. And he'd let you know, but we all miss him. And our umpire crew out there, led by Joe West, the crew chief, all wanted to let the Brocklander family know that they're thinking about him.
That's 5 straight out of the zone now from Kevin Millwood. And Nick Markakis has always been a very patient hitter. Right from his first footprints into the big leagues, Gracie, the first 21 pitches this guy saw in the big leagues, he swung at one of them.
No kidding.
How can you do? I mean, you got to be so excited, so just geeked up to be in the big leagues, to have that kind of discipline. It's amazing. Line shot caught by Kinsler. No double play as Roberts scrambles back.
What a lightning bolt off the bat of Nick Markakis. Very fortunate is Kevin Millwood. And very fortunate is Ian Kinsler that this one didn't hurt him. My goodness, what a bullet. Just back in the nick of time with Brian Roberts.
Kinsler had been averaging 18 errors a year until this year. He's going to probably end up at around half that for 2009.
Hence the whole pitch to contact.
There's a strike to Luke Scott, and well, you can appreciate with Ron Washington managing a team, it had to break his heart the last couple of years to see the Rangers dead last in defense. I mean, that just can't be if you're Ron Washington. That's all he's about is his defense.
Yeah, he was groomed by Ron Gardenhire in Minnesota. He was also a major part of the Oakland A's staff for many years. Yeah, those are teams that beat you with defense and pitching. Yeah, you have to be able to hit a little bit, no question. But there's no excuse for not catching the baseball, Josh. You're going to go through slumps and peaks and valleys offensively. But you should never have peaks and valleys on the defensive side of the ball. It's all concentration and hard work.
Well, Kinsler, who at times has had some attention and focus issues, seems to have moved beyond that. And again, the Rangers as a collective surprising a lot of people at 76 and 58. 2 back in the wild card, 3.5 out in the West.
Yeah, Kinsler was one of those kids when he came up. His focus and his concentration was 100% when he was in the batter's box. But he didn't take that out to the field, unfortunately. he would take his glove out, or I'm sorry, he'd take his bat out to the field with him, but that's certainly improved and changed.
Millwood ends up walking 2 now here in the 3rd inning. Still has to deal with Matt Wieters. And folks, this season, you are invited to stay connected to Major League Baseball on Fox by following us on Twitter. Go to twitter.com/MLB on Fox. And Fox Sports is now on MySpace and Facebook, too. Breaking news, notes, video clips, a whole lot of cool stuff. Mark Grace, did you tweet today?
I did. I Twittered my breakfast.
I'm sorry?
To all my followers. It was like Mom and Dad.
You have 2 followers and they're both Graces. Boy, Millwood all of a sudden having a real tough time getting ahead. It is 2-0 to Matt Wieters.
So Pudge on his way out. He doesn't like the rhythm he sees from Kevin Millwood, so he's going to say, hey. He walked a couple of guys. Let's throw something over the plate, maybe the outside part, and see if we can get back in the dugout.
Only 2 of Millwood's last 13 pitches have been strikes. This is after allowing the home run to Reimold. Now something's not quite right. 3-0.
He's missing badly now. Sometimes you have to be your own pitching coach out there. Mike Maddox knows he's got a veteran in Millwood. Hoping the experience will figure it out here sometime soon.
Oh, I mentioned Millwood kind of came up in that Braves organization with Mike Maddox's brother, Greg. There's been kind of an easy rapport that has been forged between Mike Maddox and Kevin Millwood. And here is the guy called Mad Dog, Mike Maddox, out to talk to Millwood and Pudge Rodriguez. With the bases loaded now, all on walks. Melvin Mora coming up. Remember, he homered last inning.
And Mike Maddox trying to get out there and get the life preserver around Kevin Millwood before this thing gets away from him here in the 3rd inning.
Very simply, last inning, Kevin Millwood found a lot of the plate on that pitch to Melvin Mora, and you can't do that to Melvin Mora.
Home run number 7 on the year. And now, not only is Millwood going to have to throw strikes, he's going to have to throw some quality strikes. You can't just aim down the middle, because Mora has already shown he can hammer that one. And there's a strike. Outside corner at the knees. That's where he wants it.
You know, last year, Gracie, when Mora hit 23 home runs, 18 of those 23 came within the first 3 pitches of the at-bat. He is a very aggressive hitter. If you throw him a fastball, he'll get it. That fastball he swings at but fouls, and Millwood's ahead 0-2.
And that's the key to pitching. If you can get ahead, if you can throw strike 1, you put the opponent in swing mode, the hitter. And that's what happened there. He got a fastball away, got him to swing at it and shank it foul. Now he can open up his whole arsenal here. He can use any of his 4 pitches here on 0-2.
Fouled again.
Another high fastball that time. That one got a little more plate than I think Kevin Millwood wanted, but he got away with it. You can see just about belly button high and on the middle of the plate. You don't want to make a living there.
Now 3 straight fastballs on an 0-2 count. Moore continues to fight him off.
Yeah, that one was much better executed there by Millwood. That one was on the inside corner, and really more fortunate to be able to foul that one off.
To third base off the glove of Esteban Herman. This is a tie game. A two-strike hit for Melvin Mora as he hits it to the opposing third baseman. The Orioles' third baseman comes through and knocks this game up.
Yeah, hanging breaking ball there. And a lot of times when you're not throwing strikes, Josh, your defenders find themselves on their heels. Actually, that's a nice play by Herman just to knock this ball down and save 2 more runs.
Now another aggressive hitter comes up there. Ty Wigginton, a pull hitter with power. And with home games here in Baltimore, everybody figured that would work out pretty well. It's an inviting left field fence here at Camden Yards.
And it's a short power alley. Only 364 to the alley here.
Well, Millwood, the veteran ace of this Ranger staff, handed a 3-0 lead today. The Orioles, though, are showing some spunk. They have tied this game 4-4. Well, he needed that. 1-1, scraped the corner.
Got the outside corner. Paul Nart, the home plate umpire. Might have been a little generous there, but Millwood will take it.
Paul Nart, Malcop. That's Blart. I'm sorry.
Blart.
Yeah. Rammed foul back to the net, 1-2.
Well, Wigginton got his pitch. That was a fastball right down Broadway. He took a healthy rip at it, but fouled it straight back. Now he's in the hole, 1-2.
Tapper near second base, Ian Kinsler. An inning that started with a home run ends with a bounce out. The Orioles have tied the Rangers. Nolan Reimold with the kickstart in that third inning. It is 4-4. Presented by Budweiser, sponsored by Priority Mail, flat rate boxes only from the Postal Service, by Zantac, heartburn, attack it, Zantac, and by Chevy. Chris Davis fouls it, and the fourth inning is underway. Rangers 4, Orioles 4 on Fox today. Josh Lewin along with Mark Grace. Thanks for joining us. Rangers trying to run their win streak to 5 and a chance to maybe get within a game of the wild card, depending on what the Boston Red Sox do. In the last check, the Red Sox were losing 3-0 to Chicago. Davis flies out, and moments ago, Dave Tremblay, the manager of the Baltimore Orioles, checking in with us. We appreciate that very much, talking about his team against Kevin Millwood today and what he's looking to get done.
Well, we got a lot of young guys. You know, we have to take advantage of our opportunities coming down the last month of the season here. You know, it's been a season of opportunity, moving guys up through the system, and you know, we like to tell our guys you got to play all 27 outs on both ends of the baseball. So I think you'll see us play all the way till the 9th.
And what are you looking for exactly, Skipper, from your young starter Brian Mattis and the rest of these youngsters for the remainder of the season?
Well, what I'd like to see out of him, Gracie, is I'd like to see him show, you know, a real feel for pitching, and that is, you know, sometimes more is not better. You know, back off a little bit, use all your pitches. When you get in fastball counts, I think you got to go to your secondary pitches. If you miss, you got to back them up. But more importantly, what we're looking at is poise, especially in situations where when guys get on base or it gets a little tight for them. And I think makeup is real important, especially in our division where you go and play in Boston and New York. You play those teams a lot. You got to show real good poise. You can't get rattled. You got to stay away from the big inning.
Dave, thank you very much for your time, man.
Good luck, Skipper.
Hey, thanks a lot. Good seeing you, Gracie.
All right.
Couple of quick outs, and boy, just what he was talking about. Brian Mattis going to that secondary pitch, the changeup, to get ahead of Saltalamacchia, and he ends up popping out for out number 2.
And also, he's looking for poise, and after a 3-run first inning, well, Mattis has tidied it up significantly. Only 1 run here in the next 2 2/3. And really, that was a gift run, a sun ball that ended up scoring. So he's certainly shown some poise after giving up 3 in the first.
This has got to be the kind of team to which Dave Tremblay can really relate. So many youngsters, and he, again, at bottom is a teacher. That's what he likes to do. Not that he's anti having veterans out there, but you know, this is a guy that had no professional playing experience, not 1 inning, not 1 pitch. He played 1 year of college ball at Brockport State in Western New York, but he got into it to be a teacher. And you mentioned he taught you right out of the chute.
No, he's one of the best I ever had. As that one's back to the box. That is a quick inning for the youngster Mattis, showing some poise, if you will.
And even if you won't, it stays 4-4, mid-4. Rangers and the Orioles progressing to the bottom of the fourth inning, and Kevin Millwood probably needs to make a statement here. That was a tough 28-pitch third inning that he had to fight through. The Orioles tied the game.
And then on the backside of that, Brian Mattis had a snappy inning in the top of the fourth, so not much rest for Kevin Millwood after that long inning.
Yeah, only 8 pitches needed by young Mr. Mattis to dispose of Davis, Saltalamacchia, and Herman, the bottom of that Ranger order. Well, for Mattis, it's gotten better as the afternoon has gone along, and for Millwood, quite the opposite.
Yeah, he had fought some wildness in the last inning. Really, if you can actually say this, fortunate to only give up 2 in the bottom of the third inning, left the bases loaded. A home run and 3 walks only led to 2 runs.
Millwood going for his 11th win of the year against 8 losses. One shortstop hits it to the other. Elvis Andrews makes yet another play. We just talked to Ron Washington, the Ranger manager, about his exciting young shortstop, Elvis Andrews.
Well, I'm very proud because, you know, the good thing about it is it doesn't matter to people that's not here to help us. We seem to still go out there and just play the game that's presented to us. And, you know, we're playing good baseball. And it doesn't matter what 9 I put out there. Everybody go out there and contribute. And that's what it's all about.
4 weeks to go, and you're right in it. Thank you very much, Wash. Good luck to you.
Thanks, Josh.
Good luck,
Mark.
Wash.
All right.
He also had some good things to say about Elvis Andrews when we talked to him. We may or may not be able to go back there, but Elvis is, well, let's say a household name all of a sudden back in Dallas-Fort Worth.
And only going to get much, much better.
Back to Ron Washington on Elvis Andrews.
Well, I'm very proud because, you know, the good thing about it is it doesn't matter to people that's not here to help us.
Third time will be a charm, Gracie.
We promise.
Yeah. Well, he said it very well a second time, so.
That was nice of Wash to just repeat himself for us.
1-1 the count to Felix, PA. You ever see the movie Groundhog Day?
What's the name of that town?
Punxsutawney.
Punxsutawney Phil?
He's Punxsutawney
Yeah.
Wash. No matter what we ask him, that's exactly what he's going to tell us. No, obviously we got a glitch. We'll try to get back there. 2-1 is fouled away. Third year on the job for Ron Washington, and by far the most successful, as again his team is very much in range. They have gained on the Red Sox 3 days in a row. Could be a 4th. Because right now the Red Sox are trailing in Chicago 3-0. And parenthetically, the White Sox are not dead yet. They've still got a chance with some head-to-head action in that AL Central to make a move.
Now I'm going to have you explain to me what parenthetically means, but yeah, they're still in it, no question about it.
I'm still just trying to get the Andrews question queued up. I can't, you know. 2-2 delivery from Millwood to Felix, PA.
Hey, you're forgetting I'm just an old ball player. You can't go too many syllables on me, Josh. You know that.
All I know is Brian Mattis thought you were the proverbial bee's knees, my man.
He was a nice kid, and he's obviously somebody I'm going to root for the rest of my life.
Back into the crowd. Or dare I say, here's Ron Washington on Elvis Andrews.
This time for sure.
For sure.
Well, that's the way you play the game, and he's only doing what he can do best, and that's for me his best asset is how well he plays shortstop, and he's doing it very well. And the good thing about it is as the year progressed, he's gotten better. So, you know, I'm really pleased with the way he's progressing.
Watch
there you go. That's what he had to say about Elvis.
We got to it, and well, you just mentioned Elvis Andrus and Ron Washington's eyes just light up at the job he's done this year.
Well, Millwood continues to have a difficult time with the command in this one. He has walked 4 of the last 8 batters that he's faced. And it's got to be at least a bit of a concern for the Rangers and Ron Washington. As great as Kevin Millwood has been in terms of setting an example, setting a tone, being professional. Fact of the matter is, Gracie, the last time he has seen 7 innings in the books was the first day of summer. It was June 21st in San Francisco. So he was doing a lot of that early. And that was most helpful because, again, it set a tone. It encouraged everybody else in the rotation to go 8 and go 9 and get it done. But right now, this is stacking up like the kind of game where the Rangers have to be hoping they're getting 5 2/3 out.
Yeah, the Ranger bullpen's certainly going to have to be used. And probably a lot more than Ron Washington would like here this afternoon. Yeah, the struggles of Millwood. Just struggling to throw strikes. Even the strikes right now, Josh, are up in the zone around the belt.
This particular batter, Nolan Reimold, has already doubled and homered against Millwood today. PA on the move, and there's a foul back by Reimold.
Now Dave Tremblay. His turn to get the action going. Put the pressure on the Texas Ranger defense. That's what he said. He's like, hey, yeah, we're young, and we're not doing all that well this year, but we're going to keep playing hard, and we're going to battle you for 9 innings.
The one thing you don't want to see, and you just don't wish it on anybody, is that 100-loss season. Right. The Orioles need to go 9 and 18 to make sure that doesn't happen. That's doable, right? Go
That's
9 and
more
18.
than doable. Much more than doable. Good pitch there at an opportune time for Kevin Millwood. He really took something off that breaking ball, Josh. Way out in front of it was Reimold. That is more like a Kevin Millwood strikeout.
He never did put Reimold away throwing the heat. Not in the first inning, not in the third, and he was fouling the fastballs here in the fourth. We got 74-mile-an-hour breaking ball right there to get him. Brian Roberts with a strikeout and a walk. That's some paint on the outside corner.
Sometimes when you get a big strikeout like that, when you've been struggling, that just gets the juices flowing again. All of a sudden, you'll get a confidence level as a pitcher. And the next thing you know, you're right at the knees on the outside corner with the fastball.
Breaking ball, strike 2.
And then the beauty of a breaking ball right behind it. I'm glad I'll never be able to figure out pitchers, Josh. I'd hate to try to think along with these guys.
Just the mere act of thinking, you know, for some people. Rangers out hitting the Orioles 6-5. Nick Markakis on deck. Roberts is going to pop one up. Millwood will yield the right of way to Esteban or Herman. And maybe Kevin Millwood is steered out of the skid. Top of the order coming up. That means Ian Kinsler, an exciting player at the top of the order for Texas. Fifth inning underway in Baltimore. A 4-4 tie today between the Rangers and the Orioles. It's a chance for the Rangers to maybe gain again on the Boston Red Sox, who are trailing 4-0 today in Chicago. It would appear to be a three-team wild card race involving Boston, Tampa Bay, and the Rangers. Kinsler lacing one to left field. Back on the ball is Reimold. Out number one. Now Tampa Bay suddenly, Gracie, has sunk to 6 back in that wild card pursuit.
Yeah, they've got a tough schedule down the stretch, and they are right in the middle of that schedule. They're playing a lot of Tiger series, Red Sox series, Yankee series. It's going to be really difficult for Joe Madden and his Tampa Bay Rays to repeat their success of last year, and it was fun to watch last year, those Rays.
They've got a head-to-head against the Rangers coming up in a couple of weekends. There's a bunt foul by Andrews.
And that's what I'm saying. It's going to be really difficult for the Rays because of their schedule. They're playing a bunch of first-place teams.
Well, and the Rangers getting a lot of play is maybe being this year's version of last year's Tampa Bay Rays. All of a sudden, the pitching and defense kind of kicked in.
Right.
The young players were producing. That one's into Elvis Andrews. The Rangers have 7 still remaining head-to-head against those Angels. 4 of them in Anaheim the last week of the season. Home series with the Angels, home series with the Rays. But I guess you got to take care of the teams you're supposed to beat, though, too, right? You can't just play those 7 against Oakland and go 2-5 and think it's going to work out.
You're exactly right. That's ball 4 here.
And Andrews,
one out walk.
Yeah, Andrews has been on base 3 times.
Yeah, in September, when you're hoping that you can get some of these teams that are out of it, and you're hoping that those teams that you're playing have the mindset of, you know what, we're out of this. That's what you're hoping. But you can't go in there and just think, oh, well, we're playing the Baltimore Orioles, and these guys have a chance to lose 100 games. They're going to lay down for us. That's usually not the case, especially when they're run by somebody like a Dave Tremblay. All these guys are playing for next year, these Orioles. They want to be in the big leagues next year. They've got a big taste of it. They're hungry for it. So this is almost a month-long tryout camp, if you will, for a lot of these Oriole players.
Very high fly ball from Marlon Byrd is going to stay in the infield. We were talking about the Rangers schedule the rest of the way, Mark. And, one thing that the Rangers do not have on their schedule, the Angels do. That's a little bit of Yankees and a little bit of Boston.
And that's all. Those are tough ones. No question. White Sox certainly still right there. Seattle playing good baseball. They've got great pitching in Seattle, not much hitting.
Got to go and take on the White Sox, too. And the White Sox have played well in Anaheim. That'll be a series next weekend, the Saturday game on Fox.
Mike Scioscia again got his team in first place. But if you ask Ron Washington, you ask these Texas Rangers, they're not thinking wild card. They're thinking Western Division.
Well, as you said, they are head-to-head with the Angels, playing 7 games against a team they're chasing. Whereas trying to chase down the Red Sox, even though they're closer to the Red Sox right now, there's no more head-to-head.
Right.
Nelson Cruz lofting it down that right field line. It is foul, right up on the rolled-up target. I knew you were going to ask, so here it is. The remaining Boston Red Sox schedule.
I'm glad you read my mind. I was going to ask. As you can see, that's not very easy for them either. Got some Yankee, some Tampa, Angels. And Toronto is a sneaky, decent team. They can hit.
Toronto just scored 18 runs against the Rangers Monday. There goes Elvis Andrus. The throw down by Wieters is going to be in time to get Elvis Andrus. Only the 4th time he's been caught stealing all year. Matt Wieters guns him down. It stays 4-4. All presented by Budweiser. Reach for the perfect combination of flavor and refreshment. Budweiser, the great American lager. Well, the Rangers try to do what they say can't be done. A lot of the pundits did not give the Rangers much of a shot in 2009, but here they are, 76-58. Could be just a game out in the wild card if all goes their way by the end of today. The Rangers and the Orioles tied 4-4 in the 5th. The Red Sox are trailing their game in Chicago. Kevin Millwood deals here to Nick Markakis, and whatever the Rangers do over the next week and a half, it's going to have to be without the guy that really is the engine that has driven them these last several years. Michael Young is out and wearing a headset. That shot right there kind of sums it all up. Michael Young is not playing, he's talking. And Slick, I know this has got to be a very, very tough thing for you. You guys as a team are right here. You're this close, and I know you want to be out there helping.
Yeah, I do, but you know, once when I first hurt my hamstring at all, I thought that my season was over at first. I heard that pop and down in my hamstring, so I thought I was done. So to know I'm going to be back for the last 2 weeks of the season, for me is good news. It's great news, actually. They're games I felt that I wasn't going to have in the first place.
In terms of what the Rangers are continuing to accomplish, do you guys, I mean, it's neat in a way, I'm sure, when you hear all the pundits out there talk about, wow, you know, those feisty Rangers, those never say die Rangers. For you, though, it doesn't seem like any of this really surprises you because you knew what you guys had coming out of spring training. Yeah,
I think camp was when we really looked at our team. We knew we had a great chance to have a good year. Pitching and defense, we knew that was kind of our mantra in spring training, and we carried it over to the season. And that's been, by far, those have been the two most consistent parts of our game.
Markakis takes one right down the line. That's going to sail away foul.
Speaking of spring training, Michael, it was decided that the Texas Rangers were going to move a Gold Glove shortstop, that would be you, over to third base. How did that sit with you? And you've really done a great job at third base.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah, first we kind of butted heads, but once we got to spring training, it was, you know, pretty much ancient history. We really put that aside. We're going to try and bear down on having a winning season, and we did that. You know, the easy thing for me is having a young kid like Elvis playing shortstop. He has a great future. He's been doing a great job for us, and he's a good kid. So it makes everything much easier for me.
Kind of an awkward play right there. Kevin Millwood found the baseball and then tried to tag the runner going by, and then had to kind of heave the ball to first. The ball and Markakis and Chris Davis all got there at the same time. This goes as a hit.
Well, tough play there for Millwood. Once Markakis got past him, now that's the shot put there. It hits Markakis right in the back of the noggin, and that's an infield base hit to lead off the inning. Hey, Michael, when you're facing a team like the Baltimore Orioles, guys that you really haven't faced before, like, for instance, Brian Mattis, what is the mindset going into a guy that you've never faced before?
Well, for me, I'm going to try and see as many pitches as I can my first at-bat. So by the time I get into my second and third at-bats, I've already seen them all. I've already seen the kitchen sink. I've seen what his ball moves, if it's got some life, the velocity, the whole nine. And, you know, obviously the situation of the game dictates your approach, whether there's guys on base or if you're ahead or behind in the game. But that's usually what I try to do my first at-bat.
Luke Scott, the hitter. He's going to take high from Kevin Millwood. Michael, do you find yourself missing the whole quarterbacking aspect of the shortstop position, or are you so at home now at third base that it's cool?
A little bit of both. I'm definitely at home at third base, and I have a lot of responsibilities there during the game to keep me occupied. But yeah, of course you miss that part of shortstop. That's a part of the middle infield that is so much fun to play. It's a way that you can have an impact or a huge impact on a game without even getting ground balls hit at you. But like you said, I mean, I've settled in at third now, and you know, winning solves everything, and that's been the case so far this year.
Boy, winning really does solve a lot.
Boy, it does.
It seems like you guys, I mean, it's largely the same cast of characters as last year. Wave and a miss here by Luke Scott. It's 2-2, but it just seems to the casual observers, Mike, that you guys you're getting along so well. You're having so much fun. I guess it's easier to do that when your record is something like 76-58.
Yeah, I mean, we have a great group of guys here, and you know, winning. Obviously, you have to do your job on the field and you have to execute, but everything kind of starts and ends in the clubhouse. We're in there more than we're out in the field, and we got a great group of guys here, and that's probably been the driving force of our club this year.
All those great guys assembled just the other day to pick the fantasy football team. How'd you do? Who'd you get?
Matt Forte in the first round. Man, you picked the right topic right here.
I know. Get you talking.
Yeah.
Going with the Bears running back.
Yeah, I did. Went with the NFC North running back. Risky, but I was hoping he'd get to me at 3. He got there, so I'm off to a good start.
And just to endear yourself to the Metroplex, I heard a rumor Tony Romo's your quarterback.
Yeah, he is. He is my quarterback.
All right. So if they didn't love you already back in Dallas-Fort Worth. Well, Michael, we'd say good luck on fantasy football and kind of mean it, but obviously good luck on the greater goal, which is winning the AL West and a World Series and all of that. You guys are off to a real nice effort here.
Appreciate that.
Thanks, Mike, for
your
your
time.
time.
Guys, take it easy.
Good luck, Michael.
Thank you.
Michael Young hoping to be back within about a week and a half for the Rangers. Kevin Millwood trying to make sure things settle in. His team, by the way, the Carolina Panthers. That's who he's rooting for. And he can't pick all Panthers for his fantasy team, but he would if he could. Everything you knew about fantasy football, folks, is about to change. The all-new Fox Fantasy Football powered by Open Sports with free live scoring, customizable leagues and research tools. Log on to foxsports.com on MSN. Join the next generation of fantasy football. There's a strike to Matt Wieters.
It's almost to the point now, I don't know what team you root for in football, Josh, but it's almost to the point now with fantasy football. I live out in Phoenix, so I'm a Arizona Cardinal fan. It's almost like now a lot of men and women that play fantasy football, I think they would rather have their fantasy football team win rather than the team they follow, don't you think?
Well, you've got personal ownership of one or the other, you know. I can understand that. But yeah, the Rangers in the middle of some pretty big doings here. Obviously trying to chase down either the Angels in the West or the Red Sox in the wild card. You got the day off in Baltimore. What else are you going to do? Gather everybody together and pick your fantasy football team.
Have a Hawaiian punch or two and enjoy your off day.
Upstairs to Matt Wieters. North Carolina against South Carolina here. Millwood against Wieters. Our thanks to Michael Young for joining us. Right now, Millwood trying to persevere and get through this 5th inning. There is action in the Ranger bullpen.
Yeah, the pitch count certainly climbing for Kevin Millwood.
Boy, going for that outside corner with that breaking ball. Didn't quite get it there. 2-2.
Well, he just missed. You could see Millwood wanted that one.
One last thought about Michael Young we didn't really get to. A very giving player off the field, and Chevy honoring the spirit of the community, supporting the 2009 Roberto Clemente Award. You can cast your vote at Chevy.com/Clemente. You could win a trip to the World Series. Nick Markakis is the Orioles representative, and Michael Young represents the Rangers. Down and in, no swing, says Paul Schreiber. It's 3-2. Jason Grilly is the guy in the bullpen right now for the Rangers, as Millwood has a pitch count right at 100.
And only one out into the 5th.
Runner goes back to Millwood. He thought about second base. Instead, he'll just heave it to first. Now, starting the runner, they stay out of the double play.
And that's really the only reason you start the runner there in that situation, for hoping that if there is a ground ball, you stay out of the double play. You certainly do that, and now you've got a runner in scoring position with 2 outs and Melvin Moore out. Well, now it's decision time for Pudge Rodriguez and Kevin Millwood. Do you go after Melvin Moore with the base open? He's homered and singled, or do you maybe pitch around him or walk him and get to Ty Wigginton, who's 0 for 2.
Either way, Millwood trying to keep himself in contention for a possible win in this one. If he can escape this inning, if the Rangers can then get him a run in the 6th, he'd be eligible for that 11th win of the year. Right now, trying to just keep it 4-4.
And just poor strike one right down Broadway. So they're not going to pitch around Moore. They're going to go right after him.
And we mentioned Mora earlier as a guy who usually is very aggressive, swings early in the count, and can do some damage early in a count.
Another fastball. Kevin Millwood, even though the pitch count over 100, very aggressive here with the go-ahead run on second. He jumps ahead 0-2.
There have been 10 pitches to Melvin Moore today, and Gracie, he has swung at 7 of them. So, yep, an aggressive
as you
hitter.
said.
Swinging here, and up the middle it goes. Base hit for Melvin Moore. Marlon Byrd fires it in. It is not in time. It is 5-4.
Make it 3-for-3 now. Melvin Moore. And just not a very good 0-2 pitch there from Kevin Millwood. A guy that's worn you out today. You try to come inside, and what happens? You go right over the middle of the plate again. And now these Orioles turn to take a lead. The throw from Byrd misses the cutoff man, and that allows Moore to go to second base. Really no play there. Markakis runs very well. So this is the guy that I was thinking maybe they would pitch to.
Wigginton offered at it. Well, a couple things loom large in this inning. First of all, Millwood's inability to get Markakis in the first place. That ball that really was just kind of topped his way and just couldn't get him. But then Dave Tremblay starting at Nick Markakis, staying out of the double play. Two pretty small things, but it's now 5-4 Baltimore. Wigginton holds up in what could be the final inning for Kevin Millwood.
If you're the Texas Rangers, what you really want to do, you're playing an early East Coast game. The team you're chasing, the Angels, they're playing in Kansas City. And they're going up against Zach Greinke tonight. What you want to do is, if you're Texas, you want to win this game because you want those Angels to see that a couple hours away in a different time zone. You want to take that shot over the bow and say, hey, look what we did. Put the pressure on the team that's in front of you.
Yep, 5 straight wins. We're not going anywhere. What you guys got?
You want the Angels and Mike Scioscia thinking, man, they won again.
Baltimore's coming up the works, though, right now. 5-4 in the 5th. Strike 3 taken by Wigginton, and Millwood is off the mound, but trailing. Orioles 5 and the Rangers 4 at the end of 5 on Fox. Baseball presented by Budweiser is sponsored by DirecTV. Follow your favorite team no matter where you live with NFL Sunday Ticket on DirecTV. By Olive Garden, when you're here, your family. And by Catuet. Late afternoon in Baltimore, Maryland. It's 5-4 Orioles into the 6th inning. Nelson Cruz a wave and a miss. And Ryan Mattis, 22 years old, has survived, apparently, Mark Grace, a 3-run top of the 1st. He's pitched very well since then.
He's shown the poise, and that's what Dave Tremblay was talking about earlier. I want to see poise. I want to see some guys that have a feel for the game.
Back-to-back yesterday and today, the Orioles have rolled out their future onto this pitcher's mound. Chris Tillman and now Brian Mattis. Although by as early as next week, we're being told, both those guys could be shut down so as not to overextend them, right?
Well, which only makes sense. You've invested a lot of money and a lot of time in these youngsters. You just want to see what they have.
Well, what Mattis has is the confidence to throw anything, anytime, is what we're learning.
Yeah, he's been impressive. We saw that first inning. He gave up 3 runs. He gave them up quickly. But boy, he has been rock solid ever since. And this is a good lineup he's been going through.
He's got that signed Mark Grace jersey in his locker now, too, so he's all pumped up. A direct TV game break. We've been talking about the Red Sox and the White Sox today. And Paul Konerko against the knuckleballer Tim Wakefield gives Chicago the early jump. And Gavin Floyd on the mound doing some real nice work for the White Sox today. It is 4-1 in the 8th. The Red Sox starting to slip and slide a little bit. A former Boston Red Sox, David Murphy, at the plate, takes strike 1.
Yeah, tough to figure out that White Sox team right now. They trade Jim Thome to the Los Angeles Dodgers, and then they go on a roll. Speaking of rolling, young Mr. Mattis rolling right along here in the 6th.
Mattis's pitch count, as opposed to that of the veteran Norwood, completely under control right now. 77 pitches for the 22-year-old. Man, that one just disappeared on David Murphy. That's the guy that homered against him back in the first.
Oh, what a thing of beauty, that breaking ball. Murphy got him on a fastball in the first inning. Now let me break out the breaking ball. Boy, that was easy. Back-to-back strikeouts here to start the top of the 6th. And after your team goes out and gets you the lead, boy, if you're Dave Trimble, you love what you're seeing from Brian Mattis. Go out there, quickly retire the first 2, and keep that momentum in your dugout.
Bud Rodriguez takes down and outside. I would suggest starting next year, Gracie, when the interleague play is back and it's Baltimore against the Washington Nationals. The Brian Mattis against Steven Strasburg experience will be fun to reenact. They used to pitch against each other in college. USD against San Diego State. That's a nice quick inning for Brian Mattis. 9 pitches to get through it. It's a 5-4 lead for Baltimore. Lost in the sunshine here at Camden Yards earlier today. That was the normally very sure-handed Nick Markakis in right field. That got the Rangers a run. It's the last run the Rangers have collected in this one. Baltimore stormed back to take the lead 5-4. Getting later in the afternoon, actually towards the evening here in Baltimore, Maryland now. And the Orioles in those 1949 Baltimore Elite Giants uniforms. They will now check out Jason Grilli, as Kevin Millwood only gives the Rangers 5 innings today. 7 hits, 4 walks allowed by the veteran. And Grilli, who began the year with the Colorado Rockies, been a nice find for the Rangers. Cesar is tourist right away. He's going to pop one in the left.
1 pitch, 1 out for Jason Grilli.
Well, we've been talking a lot about the success of the Rangers starters today. We should mention the bullpen has really done a great job as well.
Well, just about everybody that Ron Washington trots out from the bullpen is a hard thrower, whether it's from the left side or the right side. They hung in there for a long time without Frankie Francisco, their closer. But he's back.
Strike one to Felix PA. Of course, C.J. Wilson's done a great job all year. But all the buzz right now is about young Neftali Feliz. He will not pitch today. Rangers being careful not to bring him out back-to-back games. Just the way the Orioles are protective of Brian Mattis and Tillman. The Rangers have young guys like Feliz and Derek Holland. You got to protect that investment a little bit.
You have to, especially when they've had the success that they've had. But also, you know, you can protect them because you've got a bunch of guys out there as well that are getting the job done that you can turn to.
PA peels one to left, and it shoots all the way back for Murphy to make a running catch. 2 down. That ball jumped off the bat of Felix PA.
PA hit that ball right on the button. A nice play out there by David Murphy. You see the swing. Murphy just gets on his horse, looks up, reaches up, and makes a nice play. Always in control, never panicked. And really made a very difficult play, Josh, look rather easy. That's the pitch to contact. You've got some guys out there now this year that are catching the baseball that weren't out there last year.
Reimold with a big day, a double and a home run. We just talked about Derek Holland, the 22-year-old lefty for the Rangers. He will be on the mound tomorrow when the Rangers and Orioles play a day game. The 22-year-old lefty for Baltimore has been the story today, Brian Mattis. After that rocky first inning where he allowed the 3 runs. Just that misplayed fly ball in the sunshine by Markakis in the 3rd, leading to a run.
Do all ball players look that young? Or are we just getting old,
We're
Josh?
getting pretty old, dude. 3-2 the count to Reimold. Now, Mattis has never gotten past 99 pitches in a big league start. And the way he's settling in, that, I don't know, might be a possibility for him today.
He's in complete command right now. Strike 3.
Taken on the inside corner, Jason Grilli. A nice 1-2-3 inning. We'll return to Baltimore after a word from your local Fox station. Presented by Budweiser, the great American lager. Back third of the ball game begins right here. Chris Davis at the plate. And Brian Mattis, who's needed only 82 pitches to navigate 6 innings. A young lefty kind of tying up the Rangers since that 3-run first. As the Rangers try to extend their win streak to 5. Baltimore leading right now 5-4.
You see the confidence grow inning after inning for Brian Mattis. As you said, a rough first inning, giving up 3. But since then, only a Sun triple has been the only blemish.
Davis lofting one high, deep, but caught. Jared Saltalamacchia will come up next. Taco Bell presents Bring the Heat. The pitching comparison today. It was Millwood, the veteran, Mattis, the youngster. And those baby birds. You know, rookies have now started 81 out of 136 games for Baltimore this year, Gracie. That's a lot of young pitching. And Brian Mattis represented himself very well.
Now, it's tough to win a lot of games when that's been the story. But you're getting some kind of valuable experience. Look at the beautiful change up there.
Is that the pitch that's most impressed you today from Mattis, the change?
Well, I like his fastball and I like his changeup. That changeup, I think, has been more of his go-to. He's gotten hurt on a couple of fastballs, but I like the fact that even though he's been hurt with a few fastballs, there's one right there, he still is stubborn enough to stay with it. He knows that I've got to use my fastball if my off-speed stuff's going to be all right. But he's been impressive.
Growing up in the Phoenix, Arizona area, Randy Johnson, one of the guys that he would watch. And he doesn't have the height, obviously.
And he doesn't throw 100.
And he doesn't throw 100. But boy, look at his changeup coming in.
And that's the circle change. The full arm swing way out in front with Saltalamacchia.
Strike 3 called. He is not allowed a hit since an infield hit by David Murphy in the 3rd.
You're thinking change up, then you get the big breaking ball right inside the back door there on the outside corner. That's 12 out of 13 now retired by Brian Mattis.
And a quick reminder, Gracie, next week, the football season kicking off. You got the Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader, Cowboys and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Other action for you, as you can see. The Redskins take on the Giants after that. Coverage begins next Sunday with America's #1 pregame show at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Check local listings for the game and start time in your area. This is one of the most exciting times of the year for a sports fan. It's got to be. College football kicking off. The NFL season returning on Fox. Baseball plays here on Fox, of course, as well.
For those hockey fans, that's just around the corner.
It's coming. Got your NASCAR, got your golf.
You got everything you need.
Today you got your Rangers and your Orioles.
Doggone right. No, good ball game. Very good ball game. Entertaining. Cowboy fan. Wait, that's down where you live.
A little displaced out of here in the shadow of the Ravens Stadium. On the ground is short, and Brian Mattis. He's just showing off right now. The 22-year-old stopping the Rangers right now. It's 5-4 at the stretch. in uncertain times. And by Pepsi. Pepsi's the official soft drink of Major League Baseball. We had mentioned earlier that Brian Mattis in 6 Major League ball games had not gotten past 99 pitches. He's at 93, and Rick Kranitz is over to tell him apparently that's plenty. You're done.
Well, when you see the handshake, that means you're done. I'm sure Rick Kranitz probably saying, well, son, you're just doing too good out there. We're going to take you out of the ball game.
It's a delicate balance, as we've talked about, as Eddie Guardado takes over for the Rangers. Hasn't pitched in 3 weeks. Has had some left knee inflammation. We'll jump back into the fire right here against Brian Roberts. But, yeah, you know, the Orioles, obviously, the only thing they're chasing right now is making sure they don't lose 100 games. That's just...
Very true.
That's cosmetic surgery is what that is. Doesn't really change the being any.
It's the big picture now for the Orioles.
So even though Mattis had settled into some kind of groove, he had retired 13 out of 14. And the pitch count extremely reasonable at 93.
93, sure.
He's been through the order 3 times. Kinsler's going to lead off in the 8th inning. He'll bat for a 4th time. And it will be the beleaguered Baltimore bullpen taking over.
And boy, is it ever beleaguered.
Yeah, the guy they've got warming up right now, Baez, not as beleaguered as some of the others, but boy, there are some astronomical ERAs from the Orioles bullpen on their current homestand. Eddie Guardado is welcomed back. He strikes out Brian Roberts, and Brian Roberts mic'd up before the game. Let's listen in.
My first day, I got called up, and I was in the locker room, and Hargrove walks in. He goes, "You're playing short and hitting second. Don't get nervous." Sure. Yeah, I played short back then.
He said.
That's why I said, "Watch out."
He said, "Don't get nervous."
Yeah, he said, "You're playing short, hitting second. Don't get nervous." And Cal was playing third, and I was scared out of my mind.
Well, talking about big league debuts, Cal Ripken made his big league debut as, of all things, a pinch runner. It's a guy with 36 steals in 21 years, but that's where it all started. He pinch ran for Ken Singleton.
I was going to say, Cal kind of had my speed.
August 10th of 1981, he was 20 years old. He had a full head of hair back then. And just to put things in perspective how long ago that was, a hit song on the radio when Cal Ripken debuted, "Endless Love," sung by Lionel Richie and Diana Ross. And titter if you want to, Mark Grace, but in this town, a more appropriate lyric could not be invented when it comes to how they feel about Cal Ripken Jr.
Oh, that's for sure.
Of course, the other hot song that month was Jesse's Girl, and I couldn't really make that one work. But anyway, the Cal Ripken Jr. Love Fest has continued even long after his retirement. That one's down to Nick Markakis. You had the pleasure, obviously, of getting to know Cal Ripken.
Right, and anybody that's met him, he is, you're in awe of him. He's just so much bigger than TV makes him out to be. And maybe that's because us mere mortals, he's just larger than life. With those ice blue eyes that look right through you.
Got those from Dad.
Oh, man. See, I knew Dad.
Towards first. And Markakis is out with Davis lunging at him. It was on this date, September the 5th, that the all-time Ironman record was tied. We'll take you back to 1995. The Orioles against the Angels. And the next night is the one where he did the full 22-minute victory lap. Everybody kind of remembers that one a little bit more than the tying one. But the other amazing stat, I mean, the consecutive games streak went all the way to 2006-32. Luke Scott is in a nail one foul here. There was a stretch where Junior played 8,243 innings in a row without a single inning off. Ron Washington is the guy that came onto the field to replace Cal Ripken Jr. when that streak came to an end.
I was going to say, I wonder how Wash felt about that.
Well, you know, he says he felt weird.
I don't know if I would have wanted to be that man.
That was in the middle of a blowout up at Old Exhibition Stadium in Toronto. That's the game where the Blue Jays hit a record 10 home runs in one game. And finally, it was actually Dad that said, you need a break. And to hear Junior tell the story, he was like, no, I don't. But upon further review, yeah, you know what, 8,243 innings in a row.
You'll be okay. You'll go get them tomorrow. I'm sure Ron Washington thinking that Cal Sr. Yeah, we're down by enough runs now, Wash. You can go play.
18-3, Wash. Get your gloves.
Go ahead and go play. That's the thing in the American League. Because of the DH, if you're a role player or not an everyday player, you don't get to play much. So you relish the opportunities when you get to go out there.
Well, to be a backup shortstop for those 15 to 18 years in Baltimore, you might as well have been unemployed.
You're right. Or if you're the backup shortstop for the New York Yankees, you're just not going to play very much.
It's got kind of a Maytag repairman vibe to it.
I played against a guy in the minor leagues.
You played against the Maytag repairman?
No. I played. Remember Hal Morris?
Yeah.
First baseman. And had some good years for the Cincinnati Reds. Well, he came up with the New York Yankees. And that's strike three, but he didn't get to play. He was never going to play for the Yankees because they had a guy named Mattingly there. So he ended up going to the Reds.
5-4 Baltimore at the end of 7 here today. Early evening at Camden Yards in Baltimore. It's right now a 5-4 lead for the Orioles, and Danny Baez will take over on the mound. It's the top of the Ranger order, Ian Kinsler. The Rangers have been stalled in this one. Kinsler to third, a dive, and there's Melvin Mora, who hit the ground hard. He's hurt. He hangs on to the ball.
And that's the last thing these Orioles need. Is another one of their veteran guys, and another one of their everyday players hurt. Look at the effort on the hard bunt, the effort from Mora. Yeah, he got his shoulder underneath him. Let's hope he didn't separate it. Let's hope he just jarred it. Yeah, watch the left shoulder. Oh, goodness.
The Rangers without a hit since the third inning when they had a couple of infield hits from Cruz and Murphy. So Kinsler just trying to be the fire starter here in the 8th. Melvin Mora denies him. He is helped to his feet.
Well, that's scary looking. That elbow and shoulder just jarred straight up. I guess he's going to be okay. That's good news.
That's a big first out for Baltimore here in the 8th inning. Folks, Pepsi, the official soft drink of Major League Baseball, presents the August nominees for the MLB Clutch Performer of the Month Award, presented by Pepsi. Vote for the MLB Clutch Performer of the Month at PepsiClutch.com. All right, now let me ask you this, Gracie.
Okay.
Here's Elvis Andrus, real good buncher. Do you make Melvin Mora make a play right here, drop one down?
Well, the only reason...
I mean, it's kind of cruel to suggest, but
hey, there's no friends out here. You're trying to win baseball games. You're trying to win a Western Division title.
Mora's banged up after...
The only reason that it wouldn't make a difference for me is we were able to see the replay, and we saw that it's not his throwing shoulder. So his throwing shoulder's fine. It was actually his glove shoulder. So that would be really the only reason why I probably wouldn't bunt. If I had some speed, I would be thinking, yeah, let's challenge him again.
Andrus takes, and it's called strike 3. Well, the Rangers have been stuck in neutral since the third inning.
Right at the bottom of the kneecaps. Paulnart rings it right up. Andrus thought it might have been down on this gorgeous day.
I'd like to welcome those of you who have watched the Boston Red Sox and Chicago White Sox on Fox today. It was the white over the red today, 5-1. So here these Texas Rangers have a chance to get even closer for that wild card, get to within a game of Boston. But the Orioles stand in the way. They've got a 5-4 lead, and Marlon Byrd, jammed, will chop one to third base. And the Baltimore pitching since the first inning when they gave up 3. Well, they've made it real tough on those red-hot Rangers. 5-4, middle 8. Major League Baseball road trips by EAS. Don't waste your workout. Finish it with EAS Smileplex. And by KFC. Get the great taste of new Kentucky Grilled Chicken on the KFC Ultimate Value Menu. Well, the Rangers struck for 3 in the first inning. And not a lot has gone well since then for the Texas Rangers. It's now 5-4 Baltimore. We'll sum it up for you. David Murphy capped that 3-run in the first inning with a 2-run shot opposite field off the starter Brian Mattis. Kevin Millwood, who has really not been doing his bit of work over the last couple of months, began to get hit around in the second. Mora a home run, Nolan Reimold a home run. He's having a great rookie year, is Nolan Reimold. Melvin Mora, that was in the 5th, to make it a 5-4 game. And then Brian Mattis established that, you know what, he's got the goods.
Nice coming out party for young Brian Mattis. And really, the Texas Rangers looked like they were going to win in a walk-away after the first inning. But you got to give these Orioles a lot of credit. They've lost a lot of baseball games this year, but they didn't tuck their tail. They came right back after the veteran 10-game winner, Kevin Millwood. And now they're 3 outs away from winning a ball game, but they're going to try to add on here.
Matt Wieters slashing one into the right field corner. Nelson Cruz will pocket it and get it right back in. That's a long, loud single for the rookie phenom Matt Wieters. That's the first base runner for either team, Gracie, since the 5th inning.
It's been awfully quiet after a lot of offense in the first few innings.
Willie Air just brought back to the big leagues. Willie's middle name, I kid you not, is Mays. Willie Mays Air. Not to be confused with Willie Mays Hayes from the
or Akins,
movie.
yeah,
or Akins, right?
I guess that era of moms and pops, there was a lot of Mays fans.
Well, Willie's mom actually a Dodgers fan, not a Giants fan growing up, but she just thought that would be cool. Willie Mays Air.
This would be Duke Snyder Air or something like that, don't you think?
We'll pass that along. Big game for Melvin Mora. He's also made a diving catch on an Ian Kinsler bunt as the Rangers were trying to kind of lock and load to start that top of the 8th. Hammered, foul.
I think his shoulder's just fine, don't you, Josh?
That looks that way.
He made a great play.
Well, and again, we've been talking about Mora all game as a guy who is known as being a hyper-aggressive hitter early in the count. If you throw him something in the vicinity of the plate, pitch number 1 or pitch number 2, he's going to town on you.
He's going to be slashing. You're exactly right. He sits on an 0-2 count. But that's where Melvin Mora, he's there a lot, 0-2. And when you're aggressive in the count, that's the way it's going to be. He's 3 for 3. He's homered, and he drove in the go-ahead run back in the 5th inning. Baltimore pitching has made that stand up till now.
Well, the White Sox got the great effort today from Gavin Floyd. The Red Sox lost 5-1. So, yeah, the Rangers, if they do scoreboard watch, I'm sure they're noticing that they've got a chance to gain right now.
Oh, trust me, they're scoreboard watching.
Fouled off of Pudge Rodriguez. You can make the argument right there. What you just saw has happened to Pudge Rodriguez more than anybody else ever. Because he's caught the most games in big league.
He's caught more games, boy. I mean, right in the kisser. And there's a brotherhood with umpires and catchers. They're the ones that wear the equipment. They're the ones that get the foul tips. So anytime there's something like that, the umpire will come out and maybe sweep the plate off, give Pudge or any catcher a little chance to check their feelings, see if they're all still there. And here we go again.
That one fades outside from Air to Mora. Again, the Rangers had the 3 runs in on 3 hits in the first inning. Had a double from Marlon Byrd, a homer from David Murphy. Looked like it was going to be a rocky afternoon for the rookie Brian Mattis. Towards short and gloved by Elvis Andrews, who looked like, boy, only I could have short hopped that, but it didn't look like it was going to dip. Force to make that catch, and he did. The game-changing play of today's game brought to you by Holiday Inn. Signs of change are everywhere. We've been talking about Melvin Mora and what he's been doing today. You are looking at it.
He's been a lot of the offense here. And that was the key. That was the one that put the Orioles ahead here in the 8th, and he's had a terrific game.
Ball 1 to Ty Wigginton. By the way, for the Rangers in the 9th inning, the middle of the order coming up. It starts with the home run hitter Nelson Cruz, who went deep yesterday, number 31. The Hyundai in-game box score for the Orioles. Introducing the all-new 306 horsepower rear-wheel drive Hyundai Genesis Coupe. And that 3 for Mora jumps out at you. 3 hits, including the home run. Strike called.
Nothing you're going to do with that pitch. Really air, just shaving the inside corner with a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. Take a look at that again. Maybe a little bit generous from home plate umpire Paul Nart, at least in Ty Wigginton's mind.
Wigginton was called out on his strikes. His last at bat did not seem to enjoy that experience. As you look at Jim Johnson get ready in the bullpen, he's become the closer with George Sherrill shipped off to the Dodgers.
He'd love an extra run or two to work with.
Well, the Baltimore bullpen, it's been an unfortunate series of bottle rockets here against them here in this homestand that they're on. They've got some guys, including Jim Johnson, whose ERAs are well up above 10.
Well, the Yankees came in here and just pounded the Orioles and their bullpen.
On the ground at third for Esteban Herman. 5-4-3 double play, and the Texas Rangers will have their chance. They need 1 to tie and 2 to go ahead when we come back on Fox. Gavin Floyd today, beating back the Boston Red Sox. And the Rangers with that opportunity to advance because of that today. Paul Konerko's home run that went flanking off the foul pole helped out. The White Sox beat the Red Sox 5-1. The Rangers, if they win this game, are back to within 1 in the wild card. But, well, something's going to happen against Jim Johnson. The current closer of the Baltimore Orioles is on. He will take on Nelson Cruz, who is 1 out of 3. Nelson Cruz just happens to have the second best ratio of home runs per at bats in the entire American League.
Well, Johnson going to have to keep his sinker away and down at the knees. Somewhere down around there is where he wants it, but he falls behind. 2-0 on Cruz.
Last year, Gracie, this guy, Jim Johnson, pitched in 69 innings, did not allow a single home run. This year, he's allowed 7 in about 60 innings of work. On the ground, second base, and Brian Roberts stays with it. 1 down, 9th inning. It is time now for the Just for Men a hair color hold leaders. Just as the Orioles keep their team in the game, you too can stay in the game with Just for Men a hair color. And again, Johnson, who used to be a holder, is now a saver because George Sherrill is a Dodger.
That's good. A rocket off the bat of Nelson Cruz. Brian Roberts able to make the play for the first out.
David Murphy with an opposite field homer back in the first. And Mark Grace, not too much has gone right offensively for the Rangers since then. They are right now sitting on a total of 6 hits for the day.
And half of those were in the first inning. Oh, what a beautiful breaking ball there from Johnson to get ahead 0-2.
Murphy stays alive. We're told that only twice in the last 38 games, Mark, have the Orioles held their opponents to as few as half a dozen hits, but they've gotten it done today. In large measure, that was a 22-year-old Brian Mattis.
And when you're learning on the job, it can be a really difficult job, major league hitters.
High pop-up from Murphy towards Mora. He's going to find himself out of room.
He barely got one right in on the hands of Murphy. That was another good pitch there from Johnson. I would imagine now that he's got Murphy sped up, thinking fastball in, you may just see that big breaking ball again here. He may try to bounce it for strike 3.
Down the left field line. Reimold has got it. The Hyundai in-game box scored for the Rangers. Andrews a couple of hits, Murphy a couple of hits. That's the highlights out of that. Introducing the all-new 306 horsepower rear-wheel drive Hyundai Genesis Coupe. The soon-to-be 38-year-old Pudge Rodriguez. The last chance for the Rangers here. He is 2 for 2 lifetime against Jim Johnson.
Oriole fans coming to their feet. They're appreciative of what they've seen from their home team today. This is a very good Rangers team. They're 1 out away from beating.
Chop ball is Turris on the run, fires, got him! And the Baltimore Orioles have beaten the Texas Rangers today 5-4. We've talked a lot about Elvis Andrus today, the young shortstop for the Rangers. Omar Vizquel, the veteran backup shortstop. But right at the end, Cesar Turris says, you know what? I got some game at that position, too.
Yeah, I might be a little older than you, Elvis Andrus, but I'll show you how to go to my left and throw a strike over to get the final out.
Well, the Orioles, who had lost 4 straight, beat the Rangers, who had won 4 straight. And the Rangers will stay 2 back in the wild card. They are for now 4 back in the AL West, with the Angels playing later tonight. Mattis the win after giving up 3 in the first. No one absorbs the loss. We'll be back in just a moment. Again, the Orioles have beaten the Rangers today on Fox.